The wind howled down the alleyways like a living thing, clawing at the broken shutters of the back-to-back houses in Manchester. The sky hadn't brightened yet, but 11-year-old Ellen Higgins was already awake, curled beneath a moth-eaten blanket alongside her two sisters. The room they shared wasn't much bigger than the kitchen below bare brick walls. A crooked window with a cracked pane, and a single washstand with a chipped basin. Ice had formed along the edge of the water jug overnight. Her breath caught in her throat as she plunged her fingers into the freezing water. Gritting her teeth, she splashed her face, neck, and the backs of her arms with swift motions. The soap was a yellowed sliver that didn't lather, but she rubbed it between her hands out of habit. She dressed in silence, a patched cotton smock, a flannel underskirt, her woolen dress over the top. The dress was once navy, but now a dull gray, with elbows darker than the rest. The cast-iron range was lit, glowing dimly in the gloom. Her mother was at the table, red-eyed, and stirring a pot of thin oatmeal over the fire. "Sit," she said. "Eat quick." Ellen tied a scarf around Jack's neck and handed him a piece of stale bread. He took it wordlessly, munching while pulling on his scuffed cap. The streets outside were waking too. Smoke poured from the chimneys, mixing with fog to form a thick gray wall that clung to their clothes and stung their eyes. The cotton mill rose like a castle of smoke at the end of the street, its chimney towering above the rooftops. Ellen and Jack joined the line at the gates, where a man with a clipboard checked names, grunted, and waved them through. Inside, the air was different, hot, dry, and full of motion. Cotton lint floated through the beams of gaslight overhead like snowflakes. Machines clicked and clattered in endless rhythm, echoing across the cavernous floor. At her loom, Ellen placed both hands on the edge of the frame and took a breath. The machine thrummed beneath her like a living beast. A new day had begun, the same as the last, and the same as tomorrow. She spotted the first break in the thread and reached in. The air grows hotter as the day stretches on inside the factory. It's only mid-morning, but already the windows are fogged with condensation and the sour temps of sweat. Your underlayers cling to your skin, now damp from exertion. The heavy wool does not breathe, and each motion adds another layer of heat trapped against your back. The looms thunder on, a ceaseless rhythm that becomes its own kind of prison. You no longer hear them as distinct machines. Instead, the sound blends into a single, punishing vibration that fills your head and leaves no room for thought. Occasionally, a loom jams. The sudden silence from one machine is jarring, and all eyes turn, just for a moment, before quickly returning to their own work. Stopping too long is noticed. The overseer walks his circuit again, a leather strap hanging loosely at his side. He's not supposed to use it, not anymore, but everyone knows he still does when the factory owner isn't watching. Your knuckles sting with the memory of last week, when you slowed for just a few seconds to scratch an itch on your neck. The welt has mostly faded, but the lesson hasn't. Beside you, one of the older girls winces as she pulls her hand back from the loom. A fresh cut, narrow and deep, now beads with blood across her palm. She wraps it quickly with the hem of her apron and keeps working. There's no bandaging station, no first aid, and no sympathy. You keep your eyes forward, though the image burns in your mind. You've had your share of cuts, too. Everyone here has lunch, if you can call it that, arrives just after noon. Not because of any kindness, but because the machinery needs time to cool down. Overheated looms seize up, and broken parts are costly. A whistle blows, sharp and short, and for the first time in 6 hours, the noise lessens. It doesn't stop completely. The machines must be slowed carefully, but the sudden drop in volume is a blessed relief. You and your brother slip outside, joining the crowd that pours into the narrow alley behind the factory. The yard is filthy. The ground churned to mud by hundreds of boots, and the air is no cleaner than inside. But at least here, you can breathe. Sort of. You sit on a crate near the wall and unwrap the cloth bundle your mother gave you this morning. Inside is a heel of bread, dense and dark, with a few cold, greasy potatoes. No meat today. There hasn't been meat since Sunday, and even that was mostly gristle. Your brother eats quickly, barely chewing. At 13, he is always hungry. Around you, other children do the same. No one speaks much. There's no energy for chatter. A few older boys smoke hand-rolled cigarettes, coughing and spitting between puffs. The smell mingles with the ever-present coal smoke and makes your stomach turn. Suddenly, a loud shriek pierces the air from inside. Everyone freezes. A second later, a boy stumbles out of the door, his arm hanging at a strange angle. He's sobbing, and one sleeve is soaked with blood. Someone screams for the overseer. The boy crumples to the ground, and two older workers rush over. You recognize him. He was new, just started last week. He won't be back tomorrow. If he's lucky, his family will get some coins from the factory owner. If not, they'll be down a wage earner and have a mouth to feed that can't work. You look away and force another bite of bread down. You've learned not to let it shake you. That kind of fear gets into your hands, and shaking hands get punished. The whistle blows again, and just like that, the brief respite ends. Back inside, back into the furnace roar of the looms. You don't even notice the heat anymore. You just move, repeating the same task over and over until your fingers act on their own. Your brother returns to his scavenger's route, crawling under the machines with a brush and a sack. You keep an eye on him when you can. Once, a boy got trapped under the loom for nearly an hour before anyone noticed. They found him unconscious. He never woke up. The afternoon stretches on. The light from the windows fades into a dull amber, and the overseer lights the gas lamps overhead. They flicker at first, casting strange shadows, but eventually settle into a steady glow. The dust in the air sparkles in the lamplight, making the factory look almost magical for a moment, like a ballroom filled with golden motes. But it's not magic, it's lint, and you're breathing it in with every gasping breath. Hours pass. Your body moves without direction from your mind. You are no longer aware of time only, the relentless beat of the looms, and the dull ache in your legs. And back, your fingers are numb, your eyes blurred. Sometimes it feels like you've always been here, like there's no world beyond this factory. At last, the final whistle blows, a long, drawn-out sound that signals the end of the shift. You don't cheer, no one does. You're too tired. You step back from your station, stretch your arms briefly, and begin the slow shuffle toward the door. Your brother meets you at the entrance, his face smudged with grease and dust. He looks as tired as you feel. Outside, it's dark. The streets are lit by flickering gas lamps, and the fog has rolled in again. The cold, damp wraps around you like a wet sheet. You pull your shawl tighter and start the walk home. The streets are still crowded. The factories may have closed, but the taverns and markets remain open. You pass women shouting prices for bruised vegetables, boys hawking newspapers, men slouched against walls with bottles in hand. The city is alive, even in the dark, but it's not joyful. It's a weary, grinding kind of life. As you reach your street, you pass the night soil man making his rounds. He's emptying the shared privies at the end of the block, tipping their foul contents into a large wooden cart. The stench is overwhelming, and you gag reflexively, but you keep walking. It's just part of life. Your mother greets you at the door, her hands red from scrubbing. The house is slightly warmer now, the kitchen fire burning low but steady. She hands you another mug of Tino milk this time, and certainly no sugar. Just hot liquid to wash the taste of lint and smoke from your throat. Dinner is simple: boiled turnips and a small piece of cheese shared among the family. Your father is home now, slumped in his chair with his boots off. He doesn't speak much anymore. The mill took most of his voice, and the rest was lost to exhaustion. After dinner, there are chores. You sweep the hearth, help your mother fold the laundry she managed to wash this morning, and scrub your hands and face again in cold water. The basin is slightly cleaner than this morning, but not by much. Finally, you climb the stairs. Your siblings are already in bed. You wriggle between them, the mattress lumpy and damp again, but at least it's familiar. You pull the blanket up to your chin and listen to the sounds of the house settling for the night. Someone down the street is playing a fiddle, badly. A baby cries somewhere nearby. The privy door bangs in the wind. Your father coughs again, deep and harsh. And beneath it all, the ever-present hum of the city, like a heartbeat too slow and too loud. You close your eyes. You'll be back at the factory tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. For now, sleep comes quickly. It has to, because in Victorian England, rest is the only luxury most can afford. You wake to the same bone-deep chill, the same ache in your joints, the same rasping breath of your father coughing from the other room. Morning comes not like a blessing, but like a summons. The sky outside the tiny cracked window is still dark, but already the factory bell has rung once a warning. You move quietly, careful not to wake the younger ones. Your fingers are stiff, sore from yesterday's work. Your feet, pressed together all night to preserve warmth, now tingle as they meet the icy floorboards. The rush of cold makes your eyes water. Your brother stirs, rubbing his face with a grimy sleeve. He says nothing, just swings his legs off the bed and starts dressing. Talking in the mornings is rare. Words are wasted energy. Downstairs, your mother stands in her usual place at the stove, feeding in coal piece by piece, the fire reluctant to take. The kitchen smells faintly of burnt porridge and wet wool. A single candle flickers in the window, casting long shadows across the walls. She hands you each a crust of bread smeared with what little dripping remains. It's cold and hard, but you chew, slowly, stretching the moment. It's the only food you'll have until evening. Outside the street is thick with fog, heavy with soot. The gas lamps glow dimly in the grey dawn, their flickering light swallowed. By the murk, Manchester breathes smoke, even in sleep. You walk quickly, heads down, scarves drawn up. You and your brother don't hold hands anymore, not since he turned 13. It wouldn't be proper, but you stay close. Always close ahead. The looming factory gates stand open. Workers funnel in like ants, their footsteps muffled by the damp. You glance once at the sky, which is just starting to pale in the east. The day has begun. Inside the mill, it's the same as ever. The noise begins softly, then builds dozens of looms clacking into motion. Each slightly out of sync, the rhythm discordant and relentless. The heat rises almost immediately. Your skin prickles with sweat. Your station waits. The thread must be tied. The machine kept running, the rhythm never broken. You start without hesitation. There's no time to linger. Hours pass. At some point, your mind drifts. You don't realize it until your fingers fumble a knot. The thread snaps. You swear softly and reach to fix it, but the overseer has seen. A whistle. His voice like a blade. You think you've time to dream. You flinch. He walks away without another word, but you know he's made a mark in his ledger. That's a halfpenny docked. Again, you don't cry. Not here. Not now. Beside you, the girl who cut her hand yesterday works one-handed today. Her injured palm is wrapped in cloth, blood seeping through in brown stains. No one offered her rest. If she stops, she loses her spot. And in a city like this, there are always more hands than jobs. Your brother, crawling beneath the looms, brushes past your ankles. His face is streaked with dust. He gives you a small nod. He's still safe. That's all that matters. You work faster by noon. The factory floor stinks of oil, sweat, and hot iron. You barely feel your fingers anymore. The whistle blows, signaling lunch. You step back, flexing your stiff hands. Out in the yard, you eat quickly. Your bread has gone stale in your pocket, but it still quiets the rumble in your belly. The fog has lifted slightly. You can almost see the tops of the chimneys across the street. Someone passes around a bit of tobacco. A few of the older girls, except coughing delicately between puffs, you decline. Your father coughs enough for the whole family. A group of boys argues over something near the wall. You catch snatches of it. Someone's sister has a job as a maid now, in a proper house, with gas lamps and a polished floor. Bet they got carpets. One of them mutters, eyes wide. You listen, but say nothing. You've heard stories like that before. Most girls in service come home worse off than they left, or never come back at all. The whistle blows again. You rise, dust and crumbs from your apron. Back to work, the afternoon drags. You make fewer mistakes, but your hands are shaking. You don't even notice until the girl next to you presses a piece of cloth into your palm, a little square dipped in vinegar. You clutch it like a talisman and breathe in the sour sting. When you glance at her, she just shrugs. Stops the black, she mouths. You nod. Everyone has their tricks. The black is what they call the fainting, the way your vision darkens just before you collapse. You've seen it happen. A boy once pitched forward into the machine and lost half his face. Now, whenever someone sways on their feet, the older girls rush in with vinegar or slap their cheeks. The overseer turns a blind eye to that. He doesn't. Like delays, but a dead worker takes longer to replace than a dizzy one. By day's end, your legs feel like stone. Your back screams. You dream of sitting down. Just sitting. But you know better. When the final whistle sounds, you almost stumble from relief. The factory empties slowly. No one rushes. There's no reward for speed anymore. Outside, the night is colder than it was this morning. The air bites your cheeks, and your fingers turn red within minutes. You breathe out slowly, watching your breath hang in the air. The walk home is quiet. Your brother kicks a stone along the curb. Neither of you speaks out at home. The kitchen glows warm, the only part of the house that ever does. Your mother ladles, out souped in broth with a few floating scraps of cabbage. She presses a kiss to your forehead as she hands you the bowl. Her hands are cracked and raw from scrubbing. Your father sits at the table, staring into the fire. He doesn't eat yet. He waits until everyone else has had some. There's not enough for seconds. After dinner, there's mending to be done. Your blouse tore near the sleeve, and your brother's trousers are wearing thin at the knee. You sit on the floor near the hearth, and sew slowly, your fingers fumbling with the needle. Your sister babbles beside you, playing with a bit of string. She's only 3, still too young for school, let alone work. You wonder how long she'll have before she joins you at the factory, at some point. Your father speaks. They're saying there's talk in Parliament. New laws, limits on hours. Maybe schools. No one answers. You've heard that before, but still, it lingers. The idea of something changing, of less work, of books. You glance at the shelf above the fireplace. There are only 2 books, the family Bible and a tattered volume of poems. You can't read them. Not yet, your mother begins to hum a soft, old tune. One your grandmother used to sing. You close your eyes and let it wash over you. Later, in bed, you listen to the house creak and settle. Your brother snores softly. You watch the moonlight creep across the floorboards, pale and cold. Tomorrow will come, just like today. But maybe one day, the law will pass. Maybe your sister will get to read. Maybe the machines will stop for good. Maybe. Morning returns like a sentence, rather than a gift. You wake before the bell this time, your body already anticipating the pain. Your limbs feel like stiff wood, your eyes dry from the soot in the air. The lump of straw beneath you has flattened. Even further, and the scratchy blanket barely holds the chill away. Outside the window, the sky is a dull slate color, no stars. No moon, just a low-hanging gloom. Your brother stirs beside you and groans. You both lie still a moment longer, not talking, not moving, pretending that if you just stay still enough, maybe the day won't come. But it does. From downstairs, the fire cracks softly. Your mother's footsteps cross the creaking floorboards. She's already begun the routine. Stoke the fire. Boil what little water can be spared. Set out the last slices of bread. There's a system to it all. A rhythm, harsh but dependable. You rise slowly, joints popping, and pull on your clothes from yesterday, the same patched wool dress, the same sagging stockings, the same scuffed boots. You check your apron pocket for your vinegar rag. It's still there, still damp. You'll need it again today. Your brother is slower this morning. His eyes are red, his shoulders slumped. You know his legs ache worse than yours. The floor beneath the looms is cruel hard, slick, and crowded with moving parts. It bruises the bones, and there are bruises on him now. You've seen them, you. Descend the stairs together in silence. Your mother doesn't speak when she hands you breakfast to crusts of bread, brushed with a bit of fat, and a cup of weak tea. Your father is already gone. Left early to make up for yesterday's cough. He was late to his post by 6 minutes. The foreman fined him. Again, you sip your tea slowly. It's bitter, barely warm, but it coats your throat and gives you something to hold on to as you walk out the door. The streets are damp from the night. Water seeps between the cobblestones, carrying waste and filth into the gutters. The fog is low again, hanging heavy across Manchester like a shroud. The chimneys have already begun to smoke. The factory gates loom ahead. As always, they wait, with open arms and a mouth full of steam and thunder. You and your brother separate at the floor. He drops to the lower level, where the scavengers crawl. You climb the stairs to your loom, the same one. It never changes. The frame is stained, with oil and dust. The pedal creaks under your heel. The threads are already wound and waiting. The overseer gives you a look-up, brief flick of his eyes toward you. Then to his notebook. No words, just the checkmark. You are here. That's all that matters. The machines begin. The noise starts as a thrum in your chest. Then it builds. Looms clattering. Belts spinning. Iron striking iron. Voices become impossible. The only way to speak is with your hands. A sign for broken thread. A gesture for watch out. You've learned it all without a teacher. Every girl has. You work quickly, fingers flying. Tie, tighten, pull, check the pattern. Your body does it without you thinking now. Like breathing, like blinking. But there's no comfort in it. Only numbness around you. Others do the same. Girls not much older than you, some younger. A few are no more than 9 or 10, like your brother. All working, all silent. Across the aisle, a girl faints. She sways first, then crumples. Her hands don't even reach out. She hits the floor hard. A woman nearby kneels and presses a rag to her face, dabbing vinegar at her nose. She stirs after. A moment the overseer doesn't stop the machines. He never does. Later you catch your brother's eye from across the floor. He gives a half smile, smeared with grease. You smile back, but it doesn't reach your eyes. He's moving slower. His hands look raw. He'll need balm tonight, if there's any left. The hours crawl by. Your legs ache. Your mouth tastes of dust and metal. Your ears ring, but you don't notice anymore. The vibrations of the machines have replaced your own heartbeat. At midday, you step outside for a breath. The air isn't clean, but it's different. Colder, freer. You sit on a stone step and chew your lunch. Another slice of bread, harder now. Your teeth ache as you tear through it. Beside you, someone's talking about a death at the mill down the road. A boy got caught in the belt, crushed before they could stop the machine. His mother works in the same room. She saw the whole thing. No one got time off. You chew slower. The bread sticks to your teeth. Inside, the work resumes. The air is hotter. Now the sun has warmed the factory roof, and the iron machines radiate the heat back out. Your face flushes. You press the vinegar rag to your forehead. 1 more hour, then 2 more. Then you can leave. When the whistle finally screams, the release is like a flood. Your hands fall to your sides. Your shoulders drop. You walk slowly, heavily, down the stairs, your legs shaky. Your brother is waiting at the door. His knees are dirty. There's a cut on his knuckle. You don't ask how it happened. He wouldn't answer. You make your way home together. The streets are busier now. Carts roll by, their wheels spraying filthy water onto the pavement. Women call out from stoops. Children run past you barefoot, chasing a rolling tin can. A horse lies dead in the gutter. No one has moved it. When you reach your street, your mother is scrubbing a shirt in a bucket. The soap is gray, the water darker still. She wrings the cloth out and hangs it from a line that runs between the doorway and the lamppost. The wind pulls it sideways like a flag dot inside. Your father is coughing again. He doesn't look up as you enter. A cup rattles in his hand. His back hunched farther than yesterday. Dinner is barley soup. Mostly water. Barely anything to chew. You don't complain. It's hot. and that's more than some get. After the meal, your mother sits at the table and begins to sew. She's patching your brother's trousers again. You sit beside her and take up your own mending. The apron tore near the hem today. You hope it lasts another week. Your father rests in the chair by the fire, coughing into a cloth. You see the red bloom against the fabric when he pulls it away. He hides it quickly, but you saw. You don't say anything. Your youngest sister climbs into your lap. She smells like soap and coal. Her hair is damp. She asks for a story. Your mother hesitates, then nods. You tell the one about the girl who found a gold coin on the road and bought a loaf of bread that fed a village. Your sister listens with wide eyes. She doesn't understand. It's not real. When the fire dies down, you head upstairs. The cold bites through the warmth instantly. Your breath clouds the air. You crawl into bed with your brother and two younger sisters. The mattress crackles under you. The blanket is damp near the edges. You wrap your arms around your sister and listen to the wind rattle the window pane. Your brother whispers, "I heard a man say there's a school opening near the church." You blink for us. He shrugs. "If we work half days, maybe. Learn to write." You think about the books on the mantel, the ones you can't read. You imagine the words opening like doors. But there's no time for dreams. Not really. The night deepens. The city growls outside. Somewhere, a bell rings. Far off, a whistle blows. You close your eyes and try to sleep. But something is different. Not outside. The streets still stink of smoke and sewage. The house still sighs with the weight of its own damp. The kitchen still gives off the thin scent of coal and cabbage. But inside your father's chest, the cough has changed. It rattles deeper now, harsher, as if something inside him has come loose and begun to break apart. When he comes down the stairs, he holds the rail like it's a lifeline. His steps are slow. Your mother watches him closely, but says nothing. She pours the weak tea and sets out the bread without a word. Your father eats with shaking hands, coughing between bites, wiping his mouth with the same cloth that stains darker every day. You and your brother don't speak as you pull on your coats. You're both listening, and you both know what that cough means. So does your mother. Your father doesn't walk to the mill today. He stays behind in the chair near the stove, wrapped in his old coat, breathing through parted lips. His eyes are glassy, his skin pale under the soot. You pause in the doorway before leaving, looking back at him. He nods slightly. Outside, the air is colder than before, biting through your patched coat with ease. The fog has thickened, and the chimneys billow harder against it, like dragons exhaling into a drowning sky. You pass a coal cart, being unloaded by two boys, no older than your brother. They are barefoot. At the factory gates, the queue is slow. Everyone's sluggish. Something about the weather makes the air heavier. You pull your scarf higher and wait. For the overseer's nod. Inside, the floor is slick with condensation. The oil has mixed with the damp, and your boots slip on the boards. You nearly fall once before reaching your loom. The day begins. The machinery shakes the walls. The endless sound of iron, wool, pressure. Your body moves without thought now. Hands tie, fingers stretch, muscles repeat. Mid-morning, the girl beside you She doubles over suddenly, clutching her stomach, and the bile splashes her boots. She wipes her mouth and returns to her station. No one says anything. The overseer glances over, but doesn't stop the machines. At break, you step outside and lean. Against the factory wall, a man beside you lights a pipe and offers you a look. "You look tired," he says, his voice rasping. "So do you," you answer. He chuckles once and stubs out the match. "My sister was in service in London. Sent back home last week. Said the master's son liked to follow her at night." You don't respond. You've heard stories like that. Girls leaving to be housemaids and coming home ruined. Or not coming home at all. Back on the floor, your thread breaks twice in 10 minutes. The overseer glares. You press the vinegar cloth to your lips and fight the sting in your eyes. Your brother slips once on the wet floor. You see it happen. His foot skids out, and his hand grazes a moving belt. He jerks back, sucking his fingers into his mouth. He hides the wound, tucks his hand under his tunic, and returns to crawling. You want to run to him, but you can't. When the final bell rings, you barely hear it over the machines. Outside, it's raining, not heavy, but sharp. A cold, steady drizzle that soaks into your collar and clings to your hair. You hurry home. Inside the house feels colder than ever. Your father is still in the chair. His coat is pulled tighter. His lips are blue. He doesn't speak. Your mother is boiling water. You hear her whispering a prayer under her breath. She doesn't notice when you walk in. Dinner is thinner than usual. The bread is gone. Just broth tonight, and barely enough for everyone. Your father takes none. He only sips water and stares at the fire. After the dishes are cleared, your mother sends your brother to fetch the apothecary. He runs quickly, even with his injured hand tucked close to his chest. While he's gone, you help your mother move your father to the bed. He protests, but the protest is weak, just a wheeze and a shake of the head. She soothes him, her hand on his brow. He burns under your fingers. You bring up the hot bricks to warm the mattress. It's something, but not enough. Your brother returns an hour later. The apothecary follows behind. A short man, gray-bearded, with a heavy coat and a doctor's bag slung over one arm. He examines your father quietly, lifting his lids, pressing his chest, listening close. Then he sighs and stands. It's in the lungs, he says. Your mother's. Face tightens. Cholera. No, the dust. Coal. Cotton. Whatever it is, it's in deep now. He needs rest, warmth, clean air, if you can find any. She nods slowly. Medicine. The man hesitates. Then he pulls out a dark bottle. 2 spoonfuls each morning. And keep the fire burning. She pays him with coins she kept hidden in the flour jar. That night, the house doesn't sleep. Your father coughs every few minutes, long rattling hacks that shake the floorboards. Your mother stays up beside him, wiping his brow, holding his hand. You lie in bed with your siblings, eyes wide, ears open. Your brother whispers that he's scared. You nod, so are you, in the morning. Your father can't stand. Your mother tells you not to go to the mill. We'll be fine. You say no. Stay today. He can't be left alone. You obey. That day is long and cold. The fire barely holds. Your father sleeps in bursts. You help change the cloth on his chest, soaked with sweat and blood. At midday, your brother returns from the factory alone. You ask what happened. 2 boys caught in a belt. One lost his arm, the other he stops. They made us keep working. He sits on the floor beside the hearth and doesn't move again for a long time. Later, when your mother sends you out to buy a little bread with the last of the coin, you see the notice on the wall near the pump. A new law. Something about factory hours. Something about children. You don't stop to read it. You don't have time. The bread shop is almost closed. That night, your father stops coughing at first. It's a relief, but then you realize he isn't breathing. Your mother calls his name once, then again. Her hands shake. She shakes him, but he doesn't wake. Your brother begins to cry. Your youngest sister doesn't understand. Your mother lays her head against his chest. She doesn't speak. She just rocks forward, slowly, holding his hand in hers. You sit on the edge of the bed and stare at his face. It's peaceful, finally. The pain is gone. The fire crackles. Outside, the city breathes on. The following morning, the silence in the house is louder than any factory bell. Your father's body lies upstairs, still tucked beneath the woolen blanket. Your mother hasn't left his side. She sits in the chair by the bed, back straight. Eyes dry, hands folded in her lap, as if she's waiting for something. You've never seen her so still. Downstairs, the fire has gone out. The kettle is cold. No tea, no bread. Just the hollow echo of absence. You and your brother sit on the edge of the hearth. The youngest siblings are asleep on the straw pile in the corner. They don't understand yet. They know something is wrong, but their dreams still protect them. When you finally speak, Your voice feels like it doesn't belong to you. Do we have to tell the mill? Your brother nods slowly. They'll find out anyway. You stand. Your legs are stiff from the cold. You wrap your scarf and step into the gray morning. The fog is thicker today, nearly white. The chimneys are invisible, their smoke absorbed into the endless sky. The factory looms ahead, the only certainty in your life. The queue outside moves like ghosts. No one speaks. The bell rings. You turn away before reaching the gates. You go instead to the overseer's house. It's larger than yours, with a proper roof and a fenced garden, though everything is still coated in soot. You knock on the door with trembling fingers. The overseer answers. His shirt is buttoned to the throat, his suspenders sharp against his chest. He raises one eyebrow when he sees you. What is it? You clear your throat. My father, he died last night. Lung sickness. I won't be at the mill today. The overseer blinks once. Then again, that's so. You nod. He sighs and looks past you. You're not paid for missed days, I know. He leans against the doorframe, folding his arms. Does your brother still work? You hesitate. He came yesterday, but he cut his hand. It's bad. He shouldn't be crawling under machines right now. The overseer mutters. Then, sorry for your loss. He closes the door. That's it. No offer of help. No suggestion of money or relief. Just words that vanish in the fog. Back. Home. Your mother hasn't moved. The baby stirs in the corner and begins to cry. You lift her and rock her slowly. She quiets, snuggling into your neck, warm and damp with sleep. You light the fire again with what coal remains. There's little kindling left, so you tear up a bit of the wallpaper in the stairwell and use that to get the flames going. Your brother returns around noon. His face is pale, lips cracked. He's holding a wrapped parcel. They gave me this from the chapel. He says, inside is a dark cloth shroud and a wooden cross, roughly carved. A priest will come tomorrow to say a few words. That's all you can afford. You look at your father's body again. He's smaller than he was, shrunken, his skin drawn tightly across his cheekbones. The color of old candle wax. That night, your mother finally speaks. He worked from the age of 8, she says, still staring at the bed. He never had a day to rest, not one. You sit beside her and take her hand. Her fingers are ice. The priest arrives the next day. He wears a black coat and carries a small book. He doesn't enter the house. Instead, he stands outside in the narrow alley, reading from the Psalms, while you and your siblings lift the body onto the cart. The shroud is coarse and stiff. You and your brother do most of the lifting. Your mother cannot bring herself to touch. The cart creaks under the weight. The horse shuffles. There's no procession. No choir. Just you, your family, and the slow roll of wooden wheels over cobbles. The graveyard is crowded, the headstones thick as teeth. The gravedigger waits. With a shovel in one hand, he nods at you and gestures toward the narrow hole. It's already filled halfway with water. Your mother weeps for the first time as the body lowers. There is no headstone. You can't afford one. The priest says one more prayer. Then he turns and walks away, his boots clicking on the wet stone. The gravedigger covers the hole. It's done. You walk home in silence. That evening, your mother finally eats. Just a crust of bread dipped in broth, but it's something. She speaks softly to the little ones, tucking them into the straw and smoothing their hair. You and your brother sit beside the fire. The coal is nearly gone. You'll have to scavenge. More tomorrow or go without. You don't sleep much. Your dreams are filled with coughing, the rattle of breath, and the endless thrum of factory machines in the morning. Your mother announces that she go to the mill. You look at her in shock. I can work the looms, she says. I used to, before the children, but no buts, she says firmly. We need the money. That day, she ties her hair back tightly, wraps a shawl around her shoulders, and marches to the mill with her head high. She returns with a slip of paper and instructions to start tomorrow. You and your brother go as well. Your hand still stings. from tying thread, and his wound hasn't healed. But there's no other choice. Inside the mill, the overseer says nothing about your father. The machines are as loud as ever. The air is thicker. The damp clings harder. The threads break more. Often at lunch, your mother eats beside you on the factory steps. She shares her tea and gives your brother the crust of her bread. When the bell rings again, she rises and goes back in with a determined look in her eyes. The week passes in a blur. Morning to night, work and cough and noise. On Saturday, wages are handed out. Your family receives the smallest envelopes, 3 coins each. Your mother receives 5. It's just enough for coal, bread, and a bit of soap at the market. She haggles with the fishmonger and trades 2 buttons for a small scrap of mutton. It will be boiled into soup that stretches for 3 meals. Sunday is your only day off. You wake later, your limbs heavy, your fingers raw from thread and splinters. The air is still, and for once, quiet. You sit with your mother and the others. Around the fire, the baby playing with a wooden spoon on the floor. Your brother reads aloud from an old book you found in the alley 2 months ago. The pages are torn, the cover gone. But the words inside are about a ship that sails across a world made entirely of clouds. For a moment, you're somewhere else. Then the baby coughs, and it brings you all back. Your mother looks at you and says, "We're going to be all right." You want to believe her? Monday begins before the sun. The fire is out again, but no one says anything. Your mother wakes first and wraps a shawl over her shoulders before opening the coal bin. It's nearly empty. Just a few black crumbs and dusty fragments. She scrapes them together with her fingers and lays them gently on the hearth. "We'll get more after the shift," she murmurs. Breakfast is a heel of bread and weak tea, poured from leaves already used 3 times. You chew slowly, not because you're savoring it, but because you're trying to make it last. Your younger siblings remain curled up under the blanket in the corner. Their faces are pale. Your sister's nose is running again, and your little brother coughs in his sleep. It's a small cough now, but you've learned not to ignore them. The mill looms larger each day. The closer you get, the more the air changes, denser, grayer, grittier, like the soot settles deeper in your lungs. The nearer you come, the doors open just before dawn. The same overseer stands by the entrance, pocket watch in hand, eyes scanning. Faces like sheep in a pen. You pass inspection. Barely dot inside, the noise hits first, not with sound but pressure, like the air itself is vibrating. You take your place at the loom, fingers already moving before your thoughts catch up. Thread, tie, snip, wind, repeat it. Doesn't take long before your hands stop feeling like they belong to you. They become tools, parts of the loom, like the metal, like the wheel. Your mother works at the end of your row. She doesn't look up. Her jaw is tight. Her back is straight. The loom before her bucks and rattles like a beast, and she moves with it like someone breaking a horse. Hours pass. In fragments, a shouted warning, a snapped belt, a clatter of gears. At lunch, you sit on the steps with your brother. He unwraps a cold potato from his coat pocket and splits it with you. Your fingers tremble with hunger. "Still tastes better than the bread," he says. You both smile, even if it doesn't reach your eyes. When you return, you see something strange. One of the looms has been stopped. There's a pool of dark liquid on the floor. An overseer rushes past, carrying a cloth. A girl is sobbing nearby, holding her hand close to her chest. Her fingers are gone. No one says her name. No one stops working. By the end of the shift, the cloth is stained and the blood is gone, but the stain remains. A faint rust-colored print near the wheel of the 3rd loom dot outside. The fog has turned yellow. You head straight to the coal yard. It's crowded. Dozens of families are already waiting. Some hold baskets. Some have sacks. Others have nothing but empty hands and hollow eyes. You wait your turn in the growing dark. When you finally reach the counter, the man behind it doesn't even look at you. 1 shilling for a full sack, he says. You offer 6pence and hold up your coin, half sack. Then, he scoops a small pile into your brother's cloth sack and slides it across the counter. No short measures. Your mother warns softly, her voice low but firm. The man glares. Take it or leave it. You take it. Back home, the fire takes longer to light. The wet coal hisses and smokes before catching. Your youngest brother wakes from a nap, coughing hard enough to make his nose bleed. Your mother wipes his face with the edge of her apron and rocks him gently. You don't eat much that night. A bit of broth, a crust, a pinch of salt. The only luxury is silence. Later, your mother speaks while mending your brother's shirt by the fire. I used to dream about going south. To Portsmouth. The sea's warmer there. Fish markets, I heard. Boats always coming and going. She smiles, but it's thin. I still think of it sometimes. You look at her and realize she hasn't taken off her shawl in 3 days. You should rest. There's no rest for the likes of us. She replies, she's right. The next morning, your brother doesn't get up. He says he's too dizzy. His legs won't move. Your mother feels his forehead. It's hot. Too hot, she pulls the blanket up to his chin and whispers, stay under. You and she go to the mill without him. The overseer raises an eyebrow. When your brother's not there, can't afford a day off. He's ill, your mother replies. The overseer frowns. Don't make it a habit. The rest of the day is a blur of threads and aching shoulders. When you return home, your brother's fever is worse. His cheeks are flushed. He mumbles nonsense. In his sleep, you sit beside him and change the cloth on his forehead every hour. Your sister curls up beside you, too tired to stay awake, at midnight. Your brother vomits. Your mother wakes and checks his eyes. We need a doctor, but how will we pay him? She doesn't answer. She stands, pulls her coat around her shoulders, and leaves into the night. You wait, 15 minutes, 30, when she returns. She's not alone. A man with a thin gray beard and a black bag enters. His eyes are sharp but kind. He checks your brother's pulse, lifts his eyelids, listens to his chest. Then he frowns. Pneumonia, he says. Your stomach drops. He's strong. Keep him warm, broth water. If he can swallow, give him willow. Bark tea, that's all I can offer. Your mother pulls out 3 coins. All you have. The doctor waves her hand away. Keep it. There are worse debts. Then he's gone. You sit with your brother all night. By morning, the fever has broken slightly. You all go to work again. Every penny matters now. 2 days pass. He gets better, a little more each day. He sits up by the weekend and sips water on his own. Your mother makes a broth from boiled bones and onions. You each get a spoonful. Sunday again. This time, the chapel. Bell rings louder than usual. There's a notice at the door. New orphanage for ill children opening. Volunteers and donations sought. You wonder what it would be like to live somewhere else, to have a pillow, a window, a proper wash basin. Your mother reads the sign, then walks on. Back home, she tells you a story. Once, she says, your father gave me a rose, only one. He'd worked overtime for a month to afford it. It was the first flower I ever had that wasn't picked from someone else's garden. You stare at her, surprised. What did you do with it? I kept it in a book. Pressed between the pages. Still have it. She rises and opens a tin box from under the bed. Inside, among a bundle of cloth scraps and buttons, is a worn book. She opens it carefully there. Between the pages is the flattened, yellowed rose. It smells faintly of dust and memories. Don't ever forget, she says. There's still beauty, even here. That night, you sleep better, not because the house is warmer, not because your stomach is full, but because you've remembered something important. You're still human, and humans endure. The first real snow comes overnight. You wake to find the window glowing pale with light. Frost clings to the inside of the glass, feathering out in delicate white veins. It's beautiful in its way, a quiet, bitter beauty. Your little sister squeals softly when she sees it. Snow. Your mother hushes her quickly. We'll see it after work. But your brother, the one who had been sick, manages to pull himself to the window. He leans on the sill and breathes on the frosted pane, clearing a patch just big enough to peer through. It's thick, might stay for days. You know what that means. The coal will burn faster, and there'll be fewer carts delivering food, or fuel, and no warmth in the mill. The owners never waste a shilling on that still. It's a rare kind of light outside. The snow covers the grime for once. The soot-blackened stones of the houses and the muddy gutters gleam white and new, if only for a little while. Breakfast is a luxury. Your mother found a few carrots and boiled them with onion peels and barley. The soup is watery, but warm. She presses a piece of bread into your hand, stiff with cold. Eat every bite, she says. Your boots are damp before you reach the end of the street. The leather has cracks that let in meltwater. It seeps into your wool socks and settles around your toes like ice. You pass children pelting each other with snowballs in the alley. Thin arms and red cheeks. Laughter cuts through the morning stillness like a bell. It's the first sound you've heard in weeks that doesn't carry exhaustion. At the mill, there's a queue outside. One of the steam engines is frozen. A pipe burst in the night. The overseer stands near the gate with 2 engineers. They bark orders and motion to the boys, including your brother. Fetch wood. Get the boiler stoked, and tell the piecers you're on standby. That means no pay until the machines move again. You linger near the gate, unsure whether to wait or leave. Eventually, the engine shudders back to life, coughing plumes of smoke into the iron-gray sky. The machines begin their mournful chorus again. By midday, the snow has turned to slush. Black water runs through the cobbles and collects in oily puddles. You can't feel your feet. You've stopped trying to. The looms jerk and rattle worse than usual. Several threads snap, and you rush to repair them. The air is damp and full of cotton fluff that clings to your eyelashes. Breathing feels heavier today. Someone slips on the floor and twists their ankle. They're carried out by 2 boys, and you watch them limp into the street, supported only by a ragged scarf. No work, the overseer says. No pay. By late afternoon, the windows fog with condensation. The workers move like shadows behind the misted glass. You think of the snow again, how it looked untouched this morning. That moment feels a lifetime ago. When the bell rings, your back aches so badly you can barely stand. Your hands are raw. Your lips are cracked from the dry air. But you made it. You walk home slowly. The light is fading. Smoke rolls low along the streets, curling into doorways and under shutters. You pass the bakery and smell burnt crust. A woman outside clutches her child and begs the baker for scraps. He shakes his head. Nothing left. Your stomach growls. Your mother has boiled another pot of barley and added the last of the salt. It tastes better than it should. Hunger. Does that dot your siblings huddle close after dinner? Your brother seems better, stronger, but thinner too. His face looks hollow now, older. Can I come back tomorrow? He asks. Your mother pauses. One more day of rest. He doesn't argue. You lie in bed later, shivering even under 2 layers of clothing. The snow outside has begun again, whispering. Against the glass, you wonder what it would be like to live somewhere warm, somewhere dry. You imagine golden sunlight on a clean floor, a window that opens without creaking, a bed that smells like lavender and not old straw. But then your brother stirs beside you and says, "It'll be better one day, won't it?" You don't answer right away. Then you whisper, "Yes," because it has to be. The next day, your mother receives a letter. It's brought by a neighbor boy, crumpled in his mitt. She reads it slowly, then reads it again. You crowd around. It's your father's cousin, she explains. In Birmingham, he's heard of an opening in a place for skilled hands. He says he can get your father on the list. Your mother looks away. "But we'd have to leave. Everything, would it be better?" You ask. She doesn't answer. Just folds the letter and tucks it into her apron. Later, she asks you to help mend the blanket. The edges have frayed, and one corner has burned, slightly from a stray ember. You sew in silence together, the rhythm of needle and thread almost comforting. "I married your father when I was 16, she says after a while. "We had nothing, but we built this home. These walls, this fire, she sighs. Still, I'd trade it all for your future. The words hang heavy in the air. That evening, the snow thickens. The whole street disappears beneath it. You wake in the middle of the night to the sound of coughing, deep, ragged, and wet. It's your little sister. Your mother is already beside her. Hand on her forehead. She's burning up, she says. You fetch the doctor again, this time with your father's. Boots on your feet. They don't fit well, but they're better than your soaked ones. The doctor comes in the dark, holding a lantern. He examines your sister and frowns. It's in the lungs. Might be influenza. She'll need to be kept warm, fluids if she can. Keep them down. You know what that means. Sick pay doesn't exist. Your mother won't leave her bedside, which means no money. That night, your father comes home late. His hands are raw from scrubbing machines. He brings with him a crust of bread and a small pouch of beans. It's not much, but it's everything. You eat in silence. Then he opens the tin where your mother hid the letter. I've written back, he says. We'll go to Birmingham. End of the month. Your mother nods. No arguments, just quiet understanding. That night, the snow stops, and for the first time in weeks, the sky clears. You sneak outside before bed and look up stars, thousands of them, sharp and clear. You stand in the middle of the narrow street, snow crunching beneath your feet, and wonder what the world looks like beyond the mill gates, beyond Manchester, beyond coal, smoke and looms. And for the first time, the cold doesn't bite so hard, because now, there's a way out. Not a perfect one, but enough, a sliver of future. A direction inside. Your sister stirs. Your brother is already asleep again. Your mother brushes your hair gently and murmurs, we'll make it through this winter. You believe her, because people like you don't break. You bend, you endure, you keep going. That's how history forgets you. But that's also how you survive. The days that follow are both fast and painfully slow. Time moves oddly when you know it's about to change everything. Your family begins. Preparations for the move to Birmingham. It's only weeks away, but already it feels like a rope pulling. Tied away from this life, away from everything familiar. Each day at the mill feels heavier than the last. You've begun to notice things you once ignored. The way the walls sweat in the heat. The exact rhythm of each loom near your station. The familiar coughs of your coworkers. Your brother is well enough to return to work, though he walks more slowly now. His cheeks are thinner, but he smiles again, just barely. You all speak less, as if speaking too much might fracture the resolve it takes to leave. There are practical things to be done. Your mother trades old linens for a stronger satchel. Your father repairs the soles of your boots with salvaged leather from the factory scrap heap. You and your siblings help bundle what little can be carried. Patched blankets, spoons, a cracked ceramic dish that once belonged to your grandmother. One evening, your father brings home a newspaper scrap. In it is a drawing of the Birmingham Tin Works, a place full of furnaces and great wheels, but with a new boarding house for workers and their families. There's even a mention of a schoolroom, a school. Your younger brother asks. Your father nods. Only Sundays, they say, but still, better than nothing. You can't remember the last time any of you held a book. Your days at the mill continue. But now there's a strange detachment in your motions, as if you're already gone in spirit. You watch your fingers tying threads, but it's as though they belong to someone else. The noise, the dust, the overseer's shouts, all of it feels distant. Then, one morning, tragedy strikes. It happens just past the lunch bell. One of the girls in your row, Alice, with the pale braid and always chapped lips, reaches too quickly toward a jammed bobbin. The machine doesn't stop. There's a sound, sharp and terrible. A scream that cuts through the clamor. People freeze, then rush forward. Her hand is mangled. Blood spatters the floor. She's carried out, white-faced and silent, her fingers barely attached. The overseer barely pauses. Back to work, he growls. Accidents happen. You want to scream, but you don't. You keep working. Like everyone else, that night, your brother says nothing over supper. He just sits, staring at his own hands. Your mother sews quietly in the corner, stitching shut a split seam on your father's coat. Your father watches the fire. UNMOVING. Eventually your brother says, "Will it be different there?" Nobody answers right away. Then your mother whispers, "God willing." As the departure nears, you begin saying goodbye in quiet ways. You visit the narrow alley where you played when you were small, now full of slush and broken glass. You run your fingers along the bricks of the mill as you pass each morning, as if memorizing their texture. You look at the face of the girl beside you at the loom, a girl you've never even spoken to properly, and try to fix her in your memory. The day before your departure, the family gathers what little money you've saved. It's not much. Your mother counts it 3 times, then presses it into a cloth pouch and ties it beneath her dress. "It'll get us started," your father says, though his eyes betray worry. The morning of your departure dawns cold and silent. There is no celebration. Your father leaves early to collect the cart. It's old and creaks with every turn of the wheels, but the man who loans it to you, a distant cousin, says it'll hold your things for the journey. You pack quietly. The satchels are small. Most of what you own is left behind. Your little sister clutches her cloth doll, its face smudged and worn. Your mother lets her keep it, even though it takes space. Neighbors come to say goodbye. Some offer coins. One woman gives you a scarf. Another man shakes your father's hand and says, "Keep your head down in the new place." Bosses don't like questions. You set off just after dawn. Your street disappears behind you slowly. The mill looms one last time, its smokestack coughing into the dull sky. You look back once, then face forward. The road to Birmingham is long and rutted. You walk much of it. Your youngest siblings ride in the cart, along with your things. Your father pulls it. You help push when the wheels get stuck. There are no inns for families like yours. You sleep one night in a barn. The next, beside a hedge, wrapped in every layer you own. You eat bread when you can find it. Water from roadside pumps. On the 3rd night, a kind woman lets you sleep near her fire by the 5th day. The smoke of Birmingham is visible on the horizon. You arrive, sore, hungry, and blistered, but you've made it. The tin works is enormous, larger than anything you've ever seen. Metal scaffolds rise like skeletons against the gray sky. Workers move like ants below the giant chimneys. Your father meets the cousin outside the gates. He wears a stained cap and gestures toward the yard. "You'll start tomorrow." They don't. Wait, the boarding house is a brick building, not unlike your old street, but cleaner. There's an outdoor pump, and the privies don't overflow. The room you're given is small, but it has glass in the window and a door that latches. Your mother says, "It's a palace." You believe her. The next morning, your father rises early. He shaves with cold water and puts on his cleanest shirt. He kisses your mother's forehead and says, "One more chance." He walks to the factory. You help your mother unpack. The kitchen has a shared stove. You meet 2 other families, one from Sheffield, the other from Liverpool. Their accents are strange, but their eyes are familiar. Later, you're invited to the schoolroom. It's not much, just a long bench, a slate board, and a man with spectacles who reads from a Bible, but it's quiet. And it smells like ink. You hold the chalk in your hand and trace the letters slowly. A, B, C. For the first time, you begin to wonder if life might offer more than survival. That evening, your father returns. He's covered in soot and sweat, but smiling. "It's hard work," he says, "but honest." He pulls a wrapped parcel from his coat, bread, still warm. Your mother nearly weeps. That night, you sleep in the new bed. The blanket smells of sun. The mattress is thin, but hold out outside. Birmingham hums. The factory fires burn through the night, but the air in this room feels different. Lighter maybe. You turn on your side, watching the moonlight move across the wall, and you think, not of what you've escaped, but of what might come next. One day you'll learn to write your name. One day, your sister will run without coughing. One day, your brother might read a book. One day, you may not need to push carts or tie threads. One day, your children might ask, What was it like back then? And you'll tell them, not of queens and empires, but of how ordinary people lived, worked, endured, moved forward, and how they built the world. Beneath the world, history remembers, not heroes, just humans, and that was enough. It has been 6 months since you arrived in Birmingham, 6 months of tin dust and iron noise, of new rhythms and new routines. Your father works long shifts, shaping sheets of tin plate in the heat of the foundry. His face is darker now, not from sun but from soot. The fire reflects in his eyes each evening as he returns home, too tired to speak, but satisfied all the same. Your mother has begun taking in mending for some of the more fortunate families nearby. Her hands are always busy, stitching, darning, boiling cloth. But there's pride in her movements now. The work is her own, and the few coins she earns help stretch every meal. Your siblings are healthier here. The air is clearer, the water cleaner. Your little sister laughs again, properly this time, and her cough has faded into memory. Sometimes she skips through the narrow alley behind the boarding house with the neighbors' children, giggling as if she's never known what it's like to wake shivering on a straw mattress. You still rise early, long before the sun, to help gather cold chips and fetch water from the pump. The road to the tin works is shorter than your old mill walk, but your boots are wearing thin again. Still, you haven't forgotten where you came from. Some nights, you dream of the loom floor, of the relentless rhythm of cotton and steel, of the overseer's shout echoing down that foggy corridor. But the dream ends differently now, not in exhaustion, but with the sound of a bell ringing far away, a bell that never comes in the dream, but always wakes you with a start. You've started attending the Sunday school regularly. At first, it was a curiosity, the quiet, the books, the idea that letters could become whole thoughts. But then it became something more. A rhythm too, but one made of ideas instead of tasks. You learned to write your name 2 weeks ago. Then came the alphabet. Then came numbers. Last week, you copied a full sentence from the chalkboard. The rain falls on roof and street. You underlined it twice. Your teacher, a thin man named Mr. Grafton, with a sharp nose and gentle eyes, smiled and said, "That's the beginning of understanding. One day, you'll write a whole page." You'd never even thought that possible. Before, there are days when you almost feel out of place in this new life, like you've wandered into someone else's story. You pass shop windows now that display books and warm pastries, and you think not that you want them, but that they no longer seem like objects from another world. One day, in early autumn, your father comes home with a wrapped parcel beneath his arm. He doesn't say anything until after supper, when the table is cleared and your little sister has fallen asleep in the corner. He opens the brown paper, carefully, and places a pair of boots on the table. They're new. The leather is stiff, dark, untouched. "For you," he says simply. You blink, unsure what to say. You've never owned anything new in your life. Your mother just nods. You'll grow into them. Later that night, you sit on the edge of your bed, the boots beside you, like a symbol of something bigger, like a sign that maybe, just maybe, your life has turned a corner. News from Manchester comes rarely, but when it does, it's always the same. Someone has died, a neighbor, a child, an entire family from your old row, gone from the flu. The mill still runs. The overseer still finds late workers. The fog still swallows the streets. You think of that place often, not with longing, but with remembrance. The people still inside it. The girl who lost her hand, the boy crushed beneath the loom, your neighbor who used to share potatoes when she could. You wonder if they'll ever leave. You wonder if you've truly left, then. One evening in late October, Mr. Grafton pulls you aside after class. "You've been doing well," he says. "Very well." You nod, shyly. "There's a program," he continues, "sponsored by the Quakers. They're training older children, teenagers, as clerks and apprentices. Not charity, mind you. Training, paid, too." You blink. You hadn't expected that. "You're not quite old enough," he says, "but you will be in the spring. I could put your name forward, with your mother's permission, of course." You nod again, slower this time. It doesn't feel real. A clerk. You've only ever seen clerks behind glass windows, using ink, pens, and paper. The idea that you, a piecer's child, born in coal smoke, could ever sit at a desk feels absurd, and yet, when you tell your mother, she listens in silence. She doesn't speak for a long time. Then she wipes her hands on her apron and says, "Your grandmother worked the looms from age 8. I thought that would be your life too." She looks up at you, but maybe not. Winter returns, gentler this year. Your family has extra coal now, and your little sister has a second pair of mittens. Your brother, now nearly 13, finds work carrying buckets at the tin works, and though it's hard labor, he returns home smiling most nights. At Sunday school, you now help the smaller children with their letters. It feels strange to be the one who knows. You watch them struggle with C and G, and remember how your fingers trembled the first time you held a chalk stick. Sometimes you wonder if this will be your life now. Simple, warmer, hard, but manageable. Then spring arrives, and everything changes. A letter arrives in April, not from Manchester or Birmingham, but from London. It's official, signed and sealed. You have been accepted to the clerkship training program. You are too. Report to the Quaker Hall on Newington Causeway in June. Room and board will be provided. You are to bring only your essential belongings and your own writing slate. Your family gathers to read the letter together. Your mother reads it twice. Your father, once silently. Then he puts it down and says, "We'll find a way." You lie. Awake that night, the letter folded beneath your pillow. You can't sleep, because now, for the first time in your life, the future isn't a fog. It's a street paved and lit, stretching out in front of you. You will leave Birmingham. You will go to London. You will learn to write with a pen instead of chalk. You will wear clean shirts and sit at a desk. You will read ledgers, maybe. One day, write one. Your children will never know the loom floor, or the bone-cold mornings on a straw mattress, or the taste of tea reused 7 times, because you've crossed a line, not with money, not with power, but with persistence, with survival, with memory. You fall asleep just before dawn, and you dream of a window, a large one, clean and tall, with light pouring in, and on the sill your boots, polished and ready. Epilogue many years later, as the century turns, you walk through the streets of London. You wear a coat now, proper wool, with buttons you bought yourself. Your shoes shine, your handwriting is practiced. You work in an office near the docks, recording shipments from abroad. You rent a room with your own fireplace. You visit your family in Birmingham every few months. Your brother works as a tinsmith. Now your little sister teaches reading. Your mother has gray in her hair and pride in her eyes. Sometimes, you walk by the school where you learned your letters, and you stop, just for a moment. You listen to the voices inside, the scrape of chalk, the eager hum of learning. You remember the factory floor, the girl who screamed, the snow outside the cracked window, the bread your father brought home with blackened hands, the doll your sister carried all the way to Birmingham. And you never forget. You never allow yourself to forget, because history will forget the names of people like you. But you remember, and that is enough.